Hello and welcome to episode 2 of A Load of Baubles. Before I continue, I do need to make sure that everybody's aware that any views I do express throughout this video series are entirely my own, although the organisations associated with me would most probably agree with them. However, that view there was actually my own view. Moving on though, we're going to have a shout out to start off with, and Shane Lawler's got in touch with us. Hello Shane, thanks for getting in touch. He got in touch because he wanted to tell us it was his birthday, just celebrated his birthday, and therefore he'd like a shout out. So, happy birthday Shane, although I can't help but think you are trying to steal Christmas's limelight a little bit. I mean, is your birthday really as important as the birth of Jesus Christ? I'm not too sure. I mean, could you turn water into wine? Probably not. But happy birthday all the same, and thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Continuing on then, moving on, we've got some news from the US, where Barack Obama, the president obviously, turned on the Christmas lights this week, the national Christmas tree lights in Washington, and he had a little bit of help from the Muppet, Kermit the Frog. So the Muppet turned on the Christmas lights, and Kermit the Frog obviously sang Christmas songs to everyone. So, moving on, I've got some news stories now, which were given to me by a friend of mine called Gary. Hello, Gary. And they're quite interesting stories. They're both from the Barnsley Chronicle. Now, one is about the latest sort of round of cuts there is within councils and things like that. And one of the areas that are going to be affected are dog wardens. Now, obviously, I think they're a victim of their own success, really, because you don't really see that many stray dogs wandering the streets anymore. In fact, ever since the Baha Men single, Who Let the Dogs Out, there hasn't been that many dogs out, so not that many people are letting the dogs out anymore, so that's probably why there's cuts in your area, because of the Baha Men. And the other story we've spotted as well, that Gary spotted and he passed on to me, is a correction that the Barnsley Chronicle had to make, but I'm not sure why they felt they had to make this correction. I mean, it's only a very small story, as you can see, and I've changed the name in it just so I don't get anyone into trouble. The Chronicle has been asked to point out that John Smith, 23, of Doncaster Road, Starefoot, was addicted to ketamine, and not ketamine and heroin. So I'm not really sure why they had to just, point that out, really. Seemed a bit, just to point, I don't know, he's still addicted to ketamine. But anyway, now then, moving on, as you can see, I'm in Australia now. Now, I thought what we'd do is get a little bit cultured and take my baubles around the world, take the show around the world. And I thought, what better place to start than Australia? Because Australia is one place where they're celebrating Christmas in the hot sun. Fantastic. In fact, did you know that a lot of Australians, and travellers obviously alike, actually have their Christmas dinner on the beach? So if you just imagine Christmas Day, the men have obviously got their, swim shorts and speedos on, and the girls, well, they're having their Christmas dinner in bikinis, so I wonder if they get any stuffing. I'd love to pull a cracker on the beach. Anyway then, moving on, now, also about Australia, didn't you know that Father Christmas apparently doesn't arrive on a sleigh, but he arrives on a surfboard? So let's go over to Santa, who's going to tell us about his game, What's in Santa's Furry Sack? Did you get the right answer from last time? Hello there, it's Surfing Santa here, riding the waves in Australia. In fact, last time I went surfing, I had to make sure I deleted my history after, in case Merry Christmas found what I'd been looking at. Anyway, now then, I asked you last week what was in my sack. Let me remind you of the clues. We had 2 potatoes. We had, I'm struggling to balance here, 2 points and 2 tubes of lipstick. Now then, Katie Allen had a guess at Mr. Potato Head. Good guess, Katie, but not the right answer. I did actually meet Mr. Potato Head once, and he was actually quite scared about meeting me. But he did put on a brave face. Also, Leanne Ingham had a guess at Jedward. Was the answer Jedward? It certainly was. Well done, Leanne Ingham. You're the first to get it right. But what is in my sack this week? Well, let's have a look, shall we? So, the clues in this sack obviously refer to a celebrity, but can you guess who that celebrity is who's in the sack? So then, the first clue today, some toy cars. Some toy cars. There's also in there a gear stick. A gear stick, a gun, and some letters of complaint. If you think you know who's in the sack, then tweet at Jimbo Studios and see if you can get the right answer. Ho ho ho! So thanks to Santa Claus there. If you think you can guess what's in his fairy sack, then please tweet me at Jimbo Studios with your guess. You can also tweet me anything at Jimbo Studios, so if you want to tell me something that I might be able to mention in the show, or if you want to shout out, or if you want to send me pictures of your Christmas, anything like that, just tweet me at Jimbo Studios, or leave a comment under the video that you're currently watching. That'd be fantastic. Now then, moving on, obviously in the news this week was Jeremy Clarkson, who managed to put his foot in it again. This time on the One Show, where he decided to talk about the public sector strikes and say that the strikers he would actually take outside and shoot in front of their families. Now I know he probably meant this in a light-hearted way and it's probably been taken a little bit too seriously, but I can't help but think he did sound like a little bit of a dictator, which surprises me that the British and US government haven't yet gone in, removed him from power and took all of Top Gear's oil. So, I did actually ask if Jeremy Clarkson wanted to come on to this show today to try and clear things up, but he didn't really sound keen. In fact, I've got a few quotes. He said, "Christmas? I hate Christmas. All those lazy elves that do nothing but just work in the workshop all day playing with toys, they should be taken outside and shot in front of their families. And I'd tell all the kids that Father Christmas wasn't even real." So I thought probably best not having him on, really. But obviously we know Father Christmas is real. We all do. We've just seen him today, haven't we? But anyway, also the X Factor, obviously it's coming down to the last and final stages now. Last week saw Janet Devlin get kicked off for, basically forgetting the lines. And also I did notice how Louis Walsh he knows what he's judging the competition on, which is obviously good with his being a judge. He tends to say every single week, I'm going to base my decision on the performances tonight and who I think's going to go furthest in the competition. Well, it's a good job he knows what he's doing, isn't it? Because if every judge judged like him, then I don't know. Anyway, as I said, Janet Devlin was kicked off for forgetting her lines to Bop, which is, I'm not really sure how easy it is to forget the words to Bop. But anyway, I've decided that maybe I can do a better job than Janet Devlin, and I can sing us out of the show, and I'm going to sing Barbra Streisand by Duck Sauce. Barbara... Barbara Windsor.